G'day guys, Dave Lee coming at you once again from Down Under with another book review. Today we are taking a look at another book which comes in a long line of Disney art and history books that have been being released recently. I don't know what it is, but these things are huge at the moment. It's almost like there's been a big renaissance in the way that people are appreciating and respecting the art and history of the Disney studios. I think it's absolutely wonderful. Today we are taking a look at the latest release in this long line of new releases. Now this one is actually really special because it was written by Academy Award nominated Disney producer who produced the Academy Award winning Disney features Beauty and the Beast and The Lion King. Of course, it is no other than Don Hahn. I am a huge fan of Don Hahn, not just for his work within Disney animation, but for his persisting efforts as a Disney historian. Don was, of course, the director and producer behind that wonderful documentary, Waking Sleeping Beauty, which I've said many times on this channel is my absolute favorite Disney documentary ever produced, hands down. It's just absolutely wonderful. And he is the writer of such books as Before, Ever After and The Alchemy of Animation, two really wonderful books that are must-haves in any Disney collection. Talking about must-have books, let's talk about Don's new book. Yesterday's Tomorrow, Disney's Magical Mid-Century. This is an enormous book. This book is so enormous that I have to hold it back here because I'm struggling to fiddle in the frame. This is a huge book and it's really, really fantastic. This is a really wonderful reference book which takes a look at Walt Disney's pioneering efforts during the 1950s and 1960s. So what we're going to do in this video is we're going to take a very, very quick look through this book. I'm going to give you a good idea of what it's all about and you can decide whether you want to pick it up for yourself or not. Hint, pick it up because this book is awesome. Let's get into it. Alright, here it is. Don Hahn's Yesterday's Tomorrow, Disney's Magical Mid-Century. This one takes more of a look at Walt Disney's pioneering efforts during the late 50s and early 1960s when it comes to, I suppose, the way we consume media, how Walt Disney revolutionized live action family entertainment for both film and television, as well as his entrepreneurial efforts throughout the world of architecture and buildings. And I mean, this guy wanted to actually build his own city, which is something that's absolutely crazy. And of course, he built the wonderful Disneyland in the 1960s as well. And Don Hahn's book beautifully chronicles all of Walt Disney's pioneering efforts from this era. This is such a wonderful book, and I'm so proud to be able to give you a quick look through this. So this is the cover here, and it really just gives you an idea of sort of what you're going to be looking at throughout this book. Before we open the book up, let's take a look at the back cover. And of course, Don has used a picture on the back here of Walt Disney showing off his plans for Epcot, which was the experimental prototype community of tomorrow, which was he was basically, like I said, gonna just build his own city. We're gonna take the dust cover off here as usual because I don't want that to get dirtied up. Underneath the dust cover, we've got the exact same artwork on the cover there, and the back cover follows suit as well. Open this guy up. I really love the design here. We've got all the Disneyland worlds sort of laid out on the front here. There's a very heavy focus on Disneyland. A lot of Walt's ideas he experimented with in Disneyland before he took them out to the real world. So Disneyland was sort of a testing ground for Walt. Now if we open this up, really beautiful use of artwork. I believe most of this artwork, or at least some of this artwork, has never been published before. Some of the pictures and stuff in here as well. Now once again, if you're not too familiar with my reviews here, I'm not going to take you through the entire book. I don't believe in showing off the entire book. I don't believe you need to look at the entire book before you decide you want to buy something. I'm just going to give you a quick skim through this. I feel like there's just a real magic in sitting down with a book and just discovering all the pages, immersing yourself in it firsthand for the very first time. So we're going to go through this chunks of pages at a time and just sort of explore this book and see what it's got to offer you. So I've got this contents page here. I don't often go through the contents page, but this is a book that covers such a broad spectrum of topics, and I mean the amount of things Walt Disney pioneered in this time was immense. He wasn't just a filmmaker, he wasn't just an entertainer, he was an entrepreneur. So I'm actually going to go through these contents here so you get a good idea of sort of what this book covers. The Last of the Pioneers, Cinema, Live Action, Inventing Disneyland, Walt and Welton, The House of the Future, Cars of the Future, Arrow, The Men Behind the Curtain, The Disneyland Hotel, The Television Phenomenon, Selling Peanut Butter, Tootie Hires the Shermans, Space Exploration, Atomic Fusion and You, Magic Highway, CalArts, Bowling in the Rookies, Skiing in the Sierra
Sierra, Meet Me at the Fair, Walt and Moses, Magic Skyway, Mr. Lincoln, Progress Land, Small World, The Party's Over, The City of Tomorrow. So there's a whole lot of stuff in here. It covers just about all of Walt's incredible entrepreneurial adventures during the late 50s, early 1960s. And we're going to go through very quickly and just have a look at the kind of stuff that's in here. Of course, we get a little bit of a background here, a little introduction to Walt, sort of what spurred him on in the era. You know, we were coming out of World War II, and everyone was just filled with so much optimism and happiness that Walt was just wanted to spread it. Walt took this as his chance in this world that was so optimistic and so ready for change. He wanted to take it upon himself to change so many things. That was the kind of guy he was. So there's a lot of wonderful pictures in here. I've seen this picture before. This is one of my favorite pictures of Walt. I absolutely love this. And of course, alongside all these pictures, we get a lot of writing by Hahn as well. Lots of beautiful work here by Mary Blair. I mean, Mary Blair's artwork. When you think of 1960s Disney artwork, you think of Mary Blair with so many beautiful colors, and the shapes and everything she used really inspired the design of Disneyland and all of Walt's big ideas of the era. It was very much inspired by the Mary Blair style. So some beautiful stuff in here. Back to the words in here by Hahn. There's not a whole lot. There's more pictures than words in here, but the words aren't just there to sort of complement the pictures. They're telling a story, and then Don's also telling the story through the pictures as well. There's a lot of stuff in here. The text is quite large. There's not a great deal of text, so it's a pretty easy read. And Don writes in just such a beautiful way. I've read a couple of his other books, and they're just fantastic. Now, what we're going to do is we're just going to sort of grab a big chunk there and take it into the middle here. Look at this, the building of, I believe that's Disneyland here. Cars of the future. So many beautiful designs of futuristic cars. This was Walt's vision of like the early 2000s. Safe to say things didn't quite pan out that way, but a lot of his ideas, a lot of his designs for the future really sort of have influenced and inspired future creators and scientists. Just some wonderful stuff in here. Once again, the words by Hahn are just fantastic. It really gives you a good understanding of Walt Disney in this era and the Disney company and how they weren't just an entertainment empire. It was so much more. But then at the same time, this is when Walt Disney was turning Disney into an enormous multimedia and business empire. This book's fantastic. There's, as I said, pictures in here are gorgeous. The words are fantastic. And this is, once again, a must-have. I keep saying that, but there are so many amazing must-have books coming out right now about Disney history and Disney art. You just gotta have them all. This is fantastic. I would highly recommend this book to anyone who's sort of interested in maybe reading a little bit more into Walt Disney's pioneering efforts when it comes to things that's not necessarily entertainment or film. Well, there's a little bit about that in there, but it's about so much more about how Walt's optimism and his drive to make the world a better place sort of helped him in pioneering so many amazing things. That's all I'm going to show you for this book right now. There's so much more in this. I don't want to spoil it all for you, but it's fantastic.
And once again, Yesterday's Tomorrow, Disney's Magical Mid-Century by Hahn. It's available to purchase right now. I personally picked this up from my favorite book retailer of them all, Book Depository. Got it for a really good price. I was actually looking online earlier, and right now it's actually about $10 cheaper than what I paid for it 2 weeks ago. So I jump on this book as soon as you can. I have posted a Book Depository link for this book down below if you want to go ahead and purchase this book. This is one of my huge areas of interest when it comes to the legacy of Walt Disney, and it's really wonderful to finally have a book that actually focuses on it in depth. I mean, other books, they sort of skim over it. There's some really great information on it out there, but this is the first book that really covers this in depth. And there's actually a lot of stuff in here that I didn't know. A lot of stuff that I've just managed to miss out on reading about because other reference books have sort of just skimmed the surface. There's a great wealth of knowledge in here, lots of great pictures and great anecdotes and text and stuff in here that has just never been published before. I think it's a really worthy addition to any Disney book collection, or really anyone's collection about great 20th century innovation, because this is really fantastic. So that is the end of this video. If you're a first time viewer of my channel and you've liked what you've seen, you'd like to see some more, then please at the end of the video give me some support and hit that big old subscribe button up on your screen. To all my regular subscribers, thank you once again for joining me, and to absolutely everybody out there, please hit that like button down below. That does a great deal in getting these videos out there, and I really do hope that I'll see you all again soon. Until next time though, guys, take care, and I hope you have a magical day.